Good morning, guys. New week, new projects. So what I decided to do today is the piece of key art we've got left, make another box like this. Then I want to see if I can finish another 3 of these, the little easels we're making, just to get the jobs, the projects less in the workshop. Kunrad is on his way, my friend, and we're going to do this and then probably continue with the old office table, sand it down and get that nice and clean again. So grab a cup of coffee, join us. So me and Kunrad, we managed to finish another 3 of the little easels and another one of the boxes. We're quite happy with the finger joints that we managed. We're waiting now for wood to come from the wood supplier on Thursday, so we won't be able to continue with this until Thursday. They're going to stand now. So what I started with, I took the top off the old office table, and as you can see, we had much more problems than what we thought. This poor thing is so apart and so loose. Every tenon, broken tenons, just dry glue joints. This poor thing needs a lot of love and attention. So that's what I'm going to continue with now. I pulled out a bunch of nails, drilled out a few dowels, and I'm going to start reassembling the frame just to get the frame nice, steady and strong again. And we'll take it from there. So the way I'm doing this is I'm wedging, took out the nails everywhere. So I'm wedging them open as far as I can. I've blown it out with some air to just get rid of the old dust. Give it a lot of glue and then clamp it back up. Now all of these dowels, all of these joints I will reinforce with dowels once we are done, just to give it a bit more, some strength. There we are, clamped. Some nice fresh glue. That should now make this joint again fresh and new. So guys, this is definitely one of those times where you thank yourself for buying that extra few clamps. I'm almost out of clamps. Still got a few left, but most of the top joints I've treated these 2 boxes as 2 single boxes. Just glued up their joints first, top and bottoms, and then I combined the 2 again with the braces, top and bottom. At the moment it feels very, very nice, strong in the clamps. So I'll leave it now to dry a bit. Then as I remove the clamps, I will put some dowels in, just for some extra insurance. Then we'll start sanding and cleaning and make it something beautiful again. Good morning, guys. The table is very nice and steady now again. She's one solid unit again, nice and stiff. As you might have noticed, I'm at home every morning. I've put some holidays in for this week. This Easter weekend, long weekend thing makes it the ideal time to put in holidays. I prepare my garden, everything for the winter time, and also it gives me time to get rid of small odd jobs in the workshop. So today we're going to continue with this. I'm going to start sanding. First I'm going to put all the dowels everywhere, and then we're going to sand it and make it beautiful again. Enjoy. So after the morning sanding, guys, this is what we end up with. The sharper guys amongst you would have noticed by now that almost 70% of this table is made from cheap pine, which is a much lighter color than the Kiat legs. So after sanding, this really looks horrible. I don't like it very much, so we'll have to do some staining. The panels in the middle is 3mm ply, so not much sanding is allowed there. We'll sand through the layers very fast. So what I've decided to do is to stain all the lighter wood just a little bit darker, not much, because the top is also from Kiat, but it's got lots of whites in. I'll show you a picture after I sanded it. And so by just adding a bit of darker color to the pine, I think we're going to get a very nice effect. So guys, this is the top for the office desk. Here you can see the white sapwood everywhere. The guys that built this didn't really do any grain match or anything, it was just assembled. So that's why the table, the pine, I'm just going to stain a little bit darker, and then once we've sanded this will be much lighter. You'll see now this is not the true color of Kiat. The true color will come out once we've put polyurethane on it. I like putting polyurethane on something like this because it doesn't change the color too much. Some of the other finishes we put on tends to yellow the wood. Polyurethane keeps the original color, and just put a nice gloss protection layer over it. I'm going to start sanding on this now and show you what she's supposed to look like. Then you can start to see the true color of the wood. It really ruins sandpaper, these first few layers, which is very oily. Probably lots of furniture oil over the years. But keeping the wire brush handy, like I've showed you before, and of course blowing clean every now and then helps a lot and saves the paper. Got the worst of the dings and dents out of this part now. I'll continue and show you then. So guys, that's now sanded to an 80 grit. Worst of the scratches and dings are out. There's still some shades where the scratches was, but that will get out by going up in the grits. I'm now going to continue just giving my machine some time to cool down. Big problem with these old Festool machines, they're gorgeous machines, it's wonderful machines. They're a bit heavy, but the gearboxes get hot quite fast. So I'm going to continue now with the 80, 120, 180, 220. And by then we should have a very smooth surface. A big mistake lots of people make when sanding a big surface like this is concentrating on one small spot where you see a ding or a dent. Don't. You're going to, in the end, when you rub over it, you're going to feel that dent there. So keep a consistent speed, slow speed. Don't go too fast, you're wasting your time. Keep a consistent speed and keep sanding. It takes longer, much longer, but the end result will be so much better. So guys, don't go too fast with your sander by doing this. You're wasting your time. Let the paper do the work for you. Keep it consistent. What I tend to do is I go against the grain, and then I'll come back with the grain. Just cross over, and I'll continue with that until I feel everything is smooth. Like here where the sapwood was a bit swollen, it's all nice and smooth now. And the best reference, your hand. There's nothing that will give you a better feel than your hand or your fingertips. To give you an idea how smooth or how flat the surface is. So guys, I'm going to give my machine some time to cool down, sand the edges so long by hand, and then we'll come back and go up on the grids. So I've sanded the top up to 220. This is the bottom of the top. I just gave it a quick once over with the 80 grit paper so that the varnish has got something to stick to. It's very uneven. For me to get this smooth and perfect will be almost close to impossible. I'll need to take in some places 3 millimeters down to get it smooth. So I'm not going to do that. It's going to ruin the whole edge of the top. So I just gave it a once over with the 80 grit, something for this to grip to. Gave it a coat of polyurethane. I'll give it time to dry. Give it another coat, flip it over, then I'll show you the top. Morning guys, so yesterday I didn't record much. I was very busy. I made some groom buddies for my daughter again that she sold to a place in Johannesburg. I finished the easels, put the adjustable support in the back on all of them. Built another one of those boxes. Planed a load of wood, a shed load of wood. That came from the wood supplier. Glued up some blocks for another friend. One box left for the 4 boxes that I have to make. And then also the office table has been varnished. Hi everyone, I just want to explain to you the way I do my dado stacks. To get your joints smooth on the ends, I set up my blade to exactly the same height as the thickness of the wood, so that when you put them together there's actually no variance between the fingers. I start cutting one full tongue on, and then I'll make both short sides the same, one full tongue and a gap. Then my long sides I'll start open tongue and then cut the closed, or the tongue shall I say. And that's the way I do it. Make sure the height of your blade is equal to the thickness of your wood, and your joints will end up nice and perfect. So guys, I like to make my tongues just like a 1/4 millimeter too long, because this is easy to sand and square up. If they're too short, it's a mission to fix that. So they don't come out too bad. As you can see, I'm gonna glue it up now, and then we can sand and finish the last one. I'm gonna coat them all with a nice polyurethane varnish, and then they come. There we are guys, these orders are now finished. All the little details everywhere. This ironwood is a beautiful wood. Lovely to work with, but very hard and hard on your tools. 4 boxes done, all finger jointed. I'm quite happy with the finger joints. They came out quite nicely. So guys, that's this week's projects done. I was quite busy. I'm just going to quickly assemble the office table now. Then this week is done. The office table now done guys. I'm quite happy with the outcome of it. I like the lighter streaks on the kiat. Breaks the tabletop a bit. As you can see, I stained the pine that was on the base. I stained it with a mahogany, and I'm quite happy with the results. Hi guys, so what made this week easier? Something I love to use to get, as you've seen on the office table that we redid this week, it was made quite cheap. There's lots of pine, which is a very light wood, and there's the top and the legs is made from kiat, which is a much darker wood. And for me to get close to the same colors, and you'll see the picture of the finished product, I had to stain it. So one of my favorite stains to use, it's a solvent based stain, and they call it basically a wood dye. It's in no way is it a finish, it's just a stain. It doesn't hide the grain of the wood. You can actually see all the grain of the wood still. But this stuff really works a charm. You get it in the major colors, you get it. The specific one I used was mahogany, just to get a bit of red into it, because the Kiat has got red and it's nice and dark. I use a normal sponge brush to put this on for a nice even coverage. Works a charm. Really worth using. Then as a finish, I used the same brand, but their polyurethane gloss to put on the office chair. Works a charm, really easy to work with, and every time a good result. Then on the easels and the little book racks, bookshelves, book boxes that we built, I use also a polyurethane, but it's an aerosol can. It works you out a bit more expensive than the tins, but this, the reason I use this especially for small surfaces like the easels, and it's quick dry. So you put a coat of this on it, leave it for 10 or 20 minutes, put the next coat on, your third coat, you're done. Really nice. You also get these polyurethane aerosol cans. You also get this in gloss, matte, and even in color, so you already have a stain in it. So very nice to use. Guys, when you use this, really, you must have a mask. Never work with that stuff without a mask. It really gets into your lungs. Then we also use the dado stack a lot this week, making the rest of the finger joints on the boxes. And I think it was a busy week, it was a successful week. Next week coming, I'm going back to work, so I'm not going to have so much time in the workshop, but most of the small projects are now done. So we've done quite a lot. Kunrad just left as well. We played with this. I'll show you now what this is. We just took some of the woods that we have available in the wood shop at the moment, and we made some samples with the Janka Test strength, or the Newton meters test strength of the Janka meters on them, which is quite interesting. I'll show you just now. So guys, this is what we played with today. We weren't in the mood for hard work, so we just played around. Took some whatever offcuts we had in the workshop, and we cut little pieces, 100 by 100 millimeters, planed it down to a nice thin thickness. These are 2 of each, one for Kunrad's shop, one for mine. At the moment we only had the 10 species in the shop. We will add to this as we go through the years. But what's very interesting is what they call the Janka Test, where they take a .44 caliber round metal ball and they squeeze it into the wood until half of the ball makes an indent in the wood. And the Newton meters they press that into the wood with, that's the Newton meters you will see. For example, the Rhodesian teak, which is very hard, runs at 13,300 Newton meters. That's enormously hard. Where the Kiat we worked with, this is the only one I so far put some of the polyurethane stain on, runs at about 6,050 Newton meters. Something that's very soft is the balsa wood, 300 Newton meters, but everybody knows balsa, it's very light, there's nothing to it. But it just gives you an idea of where your woods, the strength of the woods are. I mean, poplar, which we call eastern cottonwood, just over 1,000 Newton meters. So this gives you quite a good idea which woods you can put together. And I love the idea. We're going to continue with this and we'll add as we go, and we'll make this range much bigger. But I found it quite interesting to compare the Newton meters or the Janka test to every one of these. We didn't do the test ourselves. We got this off the wood database on the internet. But it's quite interesting to see which woods are close to which and how hard wood can be. So guys, I'm looking forward to get this range much bigger. So guys, the top tip of this week. If you want your wife's undivided attention for a few days, walk into the house looking like this. If you ever feel neglected, walk into the house looking like this. You'll have your wife's undivided attention for at least 3 days, and as soon as she notices that you're wearing earplugs, the attention will fade away, then you can do it again. So please guys, top tip of the week, get attention of your wife by walking into the house looking like this.